Today is the 11th of July. On the 7th of July, Apostle Mohlala had a service, and this is what he opened a video saying.
People, wives, then I go home. Is that fine? Can I prophesy?
So he was going to hand out wives or husbands, as you might put it. And so he put it out in this beginning of this video that he published on your Facebook page, that he's going to be handing out. That's the service that they are in. But I'm not talking about the giving out of the wives. That's a different topic. I want to focus on this video to one particular point that they decided to talk about, apart from thinking. And I have 9 verses that I want to go back to, as if you know what the Bible says about this, why even entertain this whole thing? Is the Christianity Show with daily Christian commentary videos. Other videos done today, they'll be down in the pinned comments. And so, since that was the introduction, this thing that he says, it's around the 13th minute and so. And this is what that particular subject was. He's talking to me.
Let's all stand up.
What do you say? So this man says, we've been given a chance to select again. So polygamy, in a way. Okay.
What are you looking for?
Second chance is add. As last level of a chorus add up as well.
You don't throw away your egg. Can I prophesy?
Professor.
You shall multiply. Up again.
Amongst you,
Before saying this way,
before I go to the guys,
an opportunity. We want to give an opportunity.
those who want to take the second.
An opportunity I don't mind to be a second wife.
Mnakwethu, that's the name of a South African TV show that advocates for polygamy and goes around preaching the gospel of polygamy. Continue.
If you don't mind, just move out.
So they must show themselves, those that want or those that don't mind, amongst the women behind him there. Nobody stood.
Private. We are giving you a chance to be public. I'm not sure
I'm not sure
Mama
if
got
you
him.
up or how are you doing it?
I
am saying a lady here that saying
Mina can be a second wife. Move it back. Move. Okay. Back. Anfun. Nifuna kuba yini? Yeah? Ufuna kuba wedwa. Awusi wedwa nje kwangoku.
So basically, they scream, I want to be by myself. They are looking for someone. He's an usher. And she says, yeah, that's him. Now, it's what she said, it's what he says as well. So he's saying something. So he believes in the whole stembu. Do you mind? The lady says no. For him, she doesn't mind. That's what they're talking about. That's churches today. Oh my goodness. Now, as I mentioned, that I have about a couple of verses that I want to read, about 9, that make it very clear what we believe as Christians, particularly it's very consistent about marriage. The first verse comes from Genesis, and this is what it says. Genesis chapter number 2, and it says, verse 23, and the man said, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for out of a man she was taken. So it's very clear there's this singular, one woman, one rib, one man. Okay? And so switch over back there, and it says, for out of a man she was taken. For this reason, a man, singular, will leave his father, singular, and mother, singular. Okay, so it's not, and for this reason, men shall leave their fathers and mothers. No, singular mother left. Okay? And be united to his wife, singular, and they will become one flesh. So it's two joined to one. It's very clear there. No polygamy for Christian. There's no such a conversation amongst Christian. Deuteronomy. This is what Deuteronomy says. But the king shall not acquire many horses for himself, and send the people back to Egypt to acquire more horses. For the Lord has said, you are never to go back that way again. Okay? He must not take many wives for himself. It's consistent. It's very consistent that we have a certain way in which we are to walk. And this particular path of polygamists and all that, not here. You want to do that, you can go into the world. Go to mnakwethu yourself. Okay? You shall not go around acquiring wives and many, many wives. Okay? List. Apologies. Where's ministry phone? Ring. All right. And so he must not accumulate himself large numbers of things. So he's talking about all these other things in relation to a man's pursuits. Now, there is actually a verse that actually goes to extend why this acquiring thing. And it's in the very same verse, actually verse number 17. It says, lest his heart, right there, lest his heart goes astray. So what happens when men pursue many? His heart goes, you fall into falsehood. You fall into, we don't need to repeat that. Y'all know what to do. Stay away. Stay away from things that are away from biblifications and everything. Now, even if you go to Malachi, in Malachi chapter number 2, verse number 14, this is what it says. And yet you ask, why is it? Okay? Let's put this in there and say, why is it? Because the Lord has been a witness between you and the wife of your youth. You, singular you, and the wife of your youth. Though she is your companion and your wife by covenant. You can hear the language there, singular. Next one, Matthew chapter number 19. Now, this now comes to the New Testament, okay? So in this one it says, and Jesus answered, have you not read that from the beginning, the Creator made them male and female, singular. And it goes back into breaking down. And then the father, and for this reason, a man, singular, will leave his father, singular, and mother, and be united with his wife, singular. And the two, not three, not four, not polygamies, no. The two will be, we are clear. 1 Corinthians chapter number 7. This is what it says. Now, for the matter you write about, it is good to abstain from sexual relations, but because there is much sexual immorality, every man must have his own wife, singular. Every woman her own husband. So don't be involved with singular. The Bible says, Ephesians chapter number 5, it says, and for we are members of his body. For this reason, a man must leave his father. He goes back again into that idea of singular, and the two be united to one flesh. 1 Timothy chapter number 3, verse number 2. And this is how it kind of puts that verse out there. He says, as an overseer. Now, you see, the other verses is very clear. He's talking about marriage as a whole. In this one, he then refers to leadership of the church. He says, an overseer then must be above reproach. The husband of one wife, singular. So even in our leadership, there is one wife, one husband, the whole nine hodges. 1 Timothy chapter number 3, 12. So if you go to verse 12 of the same chapter, then he says, a deacon, another position of leadership in the church. He says a deacon must be a husband of one wife, a good manager of his house. So it's very clear. Singular is the word that we are using. First Titus chapter number 1, verse number 6. He puts it like this, and he says, an elder must be blameless, the husband of one wife, singular. Where do these people get polygamy in the Bible? That's for those people who say, no, polygamy is not restricted. Where? From the Old Testament all the way to the New, it's very clear. We are talking about a single union. Not multiple wives, not none of this stuff. So why are we even having the conversation? Why is he even entertaining the idea? I'm not even talking about the distribution of wives there. No, I'm talking about if we have such a defiled view, they, them. When I say they, if we have such a defiled, I mean them. If you guys hold to such a defiled view, completely contrary to the Bible, what tells you that any other thing is pure in your church? It's the Rick's Reality Show with the Daily Christian Commentary video. It's important we stick straight to what it says, because you can see what ends up happening. People now add their own version inside there. Why are they promoting polygamy in church? The Bible is very clear. I gave 9 verses from Old Testament to New, so you can't say. So when he talks about the leadership aspect in all these other verses, your Ephesians, Timothy, Titus, 1 Corinthians, these verses in the New Testament, yes, some of them refer to leadership, but the earlier verses refer to household relationships. Not just, he was not just instructing leadership, everyone else. And so why are they promoting contrary? That should tell you that there are other areas they need to fix in doctrine. It's Ricky. I'll see you on another episode. Other episodes done today, they'll be down in the pin comments, so check them out. And be very careful, because it looks like nowadays everybody's just going crazy.